Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be going through my Mathmech deck, which I recently won locals with. You'll see on the channel that I made a video on how to play Mathmech, but I never actually showed off a list after I got more comfortable with the deck. I played my locals on Thursday. It was 5 rounds. It was the first time I've actually played the deck in an actual tournament and not just online. I went 5-0. So I'm going to show off the list. We'll talk about the matchups I had, how I feel about the ratios and the cards I was playing, and changes I'll make going forward. So we'll get straight into it. A little bit of a dodgy setup today because I don't have a tripod on me, so I'm using a clothes horse that I've taped some paper to hold the phone above. So if it looks a bit crap, that's why. We'll get straight into the cards. So we're playing 3 copies of Mathmech Circular, the new card that came out in Power of the Elements. Very strong card. I'm not going to go through what all these cards do today because I have another video on the channel which will tell you what all these cards do and how to use them and all that sort of stuff. I'm going to assume that you have base knowledge on all the Mathmech cards. Circular, very, very strong. Best card in the deck, only reason the deck is playable. Playing 3 copies of Mathmech Diameter. Wolfbark, we love it. It's really, really good. It's really nice to be able to go into lines that start with Diameter because it is able to protect you from hand traps on turn 1, which you can't really do with Circular. You kind of die to Nib and you die to Ogre a little bit. But when you open up like Signet Mining and another Mathmech, you can get to Diameter to set up your Alimbertion through Diameter. Very, very strong. Definitely want to play 3 of this card because I definitely want to see it all the time. And then we're playing 3 copies of Addition and 3 copies of Subtraction. Both these cards do the same thing, as I'm sure you're aware. Subtract 1,000, add 1,000, special summon themselves. You just want 3 extenders, and it's worth playing 3 of both. I say the less good Mathmechs, I forgot that Sigma exists. Sigma's bonkers. Sigma's amazing. It does everything. It's your send off of Circular, obviously. So summon stuff from graveyard. It can summon stuff from hand, like Addition and Subtraction can. It's also a tuner, so it's searchable off Side Best Wicked. You only need to really play 2 of it because it's like endlessly obtainable throughout the deck. But yeah, probably one of the better cards in the deck. And then Nabla and Mathematician. I got in trouble in my last video for saying that these cards were kind of bricks. They're still not that great. I mean, they're fantastic. Nabla is another copy of Diameter, which can help when you're going for trying to protect against hand traps on the first turn, which is fantastic. Primarily, these are good for going second, though, I feel like. I mean, making a final Sigma, which is like double attack, double damage, attack twice. It's fantastic. I'll never cut these cards. I do find myself siding them out quite often, going second, which doesn't seem to make much sense because these are cards that are really good going second to break boards, but I'd rather see more going second cards. I don't know, it's a bit of a weird one. I normally side them back in going first because I just want to make sure I see names to make sure I can combo. They're very weird cards, but I don't feel I'm going to cut them anytime soon. They're just too good. For the Mathmech Spell and Traps, we're playing 1 Equation and 1 Superfactorial. Now, would I play more than 1 Superfactorial? I have no idea, to be perfectly honest. When I'm playing with 1, it's really horrible when you banish it off of Pot of Desires, but I don't know, I just don't really feel like you need to. Like, if you're going first, you're trying to set up your board with Superfactorial, and assuming you don't have to Desires first and banish it, you're pretty much always getting to Superfactorial if you can play, because you've got 2 different cards that can search it. Then on turn 3, you really want to kill your opponent, because if you let it get to turn 5, you're probably behind, considering how much Tear and Splight can just keep coming back, because all of their cards just do the same thing over and over again. So on turn 3, you don't really want to be setting up another Superfactorial. You want to be killing them. So I don't know. I'm happy with 1 at the minute. I might play a copy of the other trap, which at the minute I can't remember what it's called, but it's a pop, and I might play that instead of Equation. But Equation was really good as well, because it's just a free extender, and when you see Superfactorial, it just means you can search another extender for your next turn to make sure you can OTK. For non-archetypal cards, I'm playing 3 Signet Mining, 2 Pot of Desires, and then some one-offs. We're playing Harpy's Feather Duster and Called by the Grave. Signet Mining is fantastic. You get to search the entire deck. Like I said, if you have a Mathmech and a Signet Mining, you can pitch the Mathmech, search Diameter, normal Diameter, special summon back, and you can make your Alimbertion, protect yourself from Nib and all the other hand traps before you have to commit too much into your plays with Circular. Pot Desires, fantastic. Obviously, it's at 2. Probably should have stayed at 1. Yeah, not really much else to say about that. I main the one Heartbeats Feather Duster. The card's glued to my hand, so I loved it at locals, to be perfectly honest. It's my main deck mine out. It also is just a Saki card if you go in second into something that actually sets some back row, and Call by the Grave is Call by the Grave. Now, going second cards is the rest of the deck. So we're playing 3 copies of Ash Blossom, 3 copies of Ghost Spell and Haunted Mansion, 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence, 3 copies of Dark Will No More, 2 copies of Effect Veiler, and 1 copy of DD Crow. Now, before you go into the comments and start shouting at me that DD Crow is the best hand trap in the format, and that I myself have said that DD Crow is the best hand trap in the format, I only own 1. So that's why I'm playing 1, because I only bought 1 when I was playing Lyra's Tri Brigade because it was searchable, and I never bought the other 2, and I was poor until I got paid yesterday. So I'm going to buy 2 more. I'll probably replace one of the Veilers and one of the Bells for the other 2 DD Crows. But honestly, Ghost Bell felt really, really good playing in the tournament I played. It won me the last match, probably, because my opponent evenly matches me. It's Harry, the guy you've seen from all the Elders videos. He hits me with evenly match. I chain Lingarebo. He chains Call by the Grave to my Lingarebo. I chain Bell to the Call by the Grave. And I win the game, basically, because I've still got all my interruption up and he has no battle phase. So yeah, Ghost Spell, really good. I'm definitely not going to cut the card entirely. I'll probably play 2, because I don't like playing too many hard once per turn hand traps like Ash and Ghost Spell if I'm playing a large proportion of going second cards. I'd rather play like 3 Ash, 2 Bell, and then 3 of the ones that aren't once per turn or like aren't so great, so you know. Yeah, so that's the only thing I'd really change in the lineup. I didn't really feel like I needed Ogre. Maybe I cut like a Ghost Spell and a Veiler for the other 2 DD Crows, or maybe cut the other Veiler for a Ogre, because it seems pretty decent against tier, but there's not really much tier at my locals. So maybe an event, probably not for my locals, to be perfectly honest. That's the entirety of the main deck. It's 40 cards. We'll get into the extra deck now. So we're playing 2 copies of Alimbertion. It's fantastic. 1 copy of Laplation. Only playing 1 because we only play 1 of the Trap, so don't really need another one. And 1 copy of Final Sigma. A lot of people are cutting this card. I probably should, but it's really, really funny to just like slap down an Nabla, slap down an Addition, and oh my god, you're dead. And also, when your opponent's playing Splight and they set up the dupe combo, this card doesn't have to attack dupe, which is very, very funny. So they just leave their elf in attack mode, they let you get into Final Sigma, and you just punch over the elf, and you win the game. So that's really, really good. For non-Mathmech cards, I guess, Link 1s, we're playing 1 Link Disciple, 1 Link Devotee, and 1 Lingarebo. Obviously, these are combo cards. You use them all in your first turn. They're all fantastic, and you have to play all of them. Well, I guess you don't have to play the Lingarebo, but I like playing the Lingarebo because it means that I can trigger my Wicked before going for IP and protect it from Imperm if they've held it for that long for whatever reason. Yeah, I like Lingarebo. For Link 2s, we're playing 1 Cyberverse Wicked, the best card in the deck probably, 1 IP Masquerainer, fantastic, 1 Splash Mage, and 1 Update Jammer. These are for setups, these are for OTKs. They're very, very good. And as the Cyberverse package just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, this deck is just going to get better and better and better. For the Link 3s, just playing 1, we're playing Transcode Talker. It's just Splash Mage, but a machine, I guess. It's a Link 3, so you make it off with the Splash Mage, and then bring back 1 and go into a Link 4. Access Code, the whole reason to play the deck. This card is absolutely insane in this deck. You can make, I guess you go like to 5-3, so you make a 10,600 attack Access Code Talker that can attack twice. You don't need to, you can, but typically you're just making up Update Jammer, Access Code Talker to OTK your opponent. And if you don't have this card, I wouldn't play Mathmech, perfectly honest, because Final Sigma is great at OTKing, but if they stop you getting to it, then you just can't do anything. And Access Code Talker is a lot more difficult for you to stop you getting into. Other Link 4, Appaloosa, we make it with IP Masquerainer. I love that I have both these cards in gold. Yeah, but Appaloosa, obviously, you make it with IP. Yes, 2 or 3 negates, it's a floodgate. I mean, it's great. And then you might have counted that was 14 cards in the extra deck. We're playing a Link 6. We're playing the Arrival at Agnista. A lot of people don't play this cards and would rather play cards for Parallel Exceed and that sort of stuff. I like this card because it just instant wins against Tyralement. And I did say there's no tournament at my locals, pretty much. I think there might have been like one player. But it's just so funny. I refuse to cut this card because it's just so goddamn funny. And you can make it just off one copy of Circular. You can make a 4,000 Agnister. And a lot of decks really struggled about that, and that's with the trap as well. So, yeah, it's really good against Rogue. It's really good against Tournament, so I'm playing it. Let's go into the side deck. I'm playing 3 copies of Nibiru, 1 Pank, 2 Lava Golem for like the dedicated going second cards against like combo decks and the such. I don't really know what to say about the side, to be perfectly honest, because despite the fact that it was 5 rounds and I played 3, 6, 9, 13 games in total over the tournament, and I guess like 5 of those unsided, so 8 sided games, I saw 1 side cards the entire event. So this side deck might be awful. I don't know. I never saw it, so I can't really say. I'm playing 3 copies of Twin Twisters because there tends to be a lot of back row decks at my locals, a lot of Eldritch, a lot of just random crap, so I wanted to play the back row removal. Red Reboot goes with that. Shook the camera screen there, hopefully we're still in frame. And then for going first cards, I'm playing 2 Dim Barrier, 3 Anti-Spell Fragrance. Yeah, these cards are really, really good. I mean, every time I flipped Dimensional Barrier against Splight, I slowed them down enough that I could kill them. Every time I flipped up Anti-Spell Fragrance, I slowed down every other deck until I could kill them. So, yeah. No Rivalry on the side, which I'm seeing a lot of people play. It just doesn't seem very good against Sprite, which is the majority of the format, which is why I'm not playing it. But I guess it's really good against Tier, so I guess like just take your locals into account when you're like building these decks, or like what you're expecting to see at events. Because Rivalry could be really, really good, to be perfectly honest, but you know, these are pretty good as well. Right. So let's talk about the cards that I'm not playing very quickly. I'm sure some people have already gone to the comments to talk about it. I'm not playing Small World. I feel like the deck is pretty much consistent enough as it is, so I didn't really feel like I needed another searcher. I'm sure adding the 3 Small Worlds and the Link Flyer wouldn't really harm the deck too much, but the cards I'd be taking out would be going second cards. And I feel like in a format where you need at least 2 hand traps to do any meaningful damage to Tier or Sprite, reducing your number of going second cards to play more cards that make your deck more consistent when it's already consistent doesn't seem to make a lot of sense in my mind. But I have had hands where I just can't really play. But again, I went 5-0 at locals. So like, you could definitely do well at events without the Small Worlds and the Link Flyer. I'm not playing Parallel Exceed. I don't really think it's that great. I mean, you can go into the Parallel Exceed lines really, really early by just using a side verse for a Link Disciple. But it kind of just seems a bit Winmore to me, because you can make the Alan Bersham, but like, if they negate it with Ash, then you just don't get your search. You'd much rather be making it with Diameter anyway. And you can go into Alan Bersham without your normal Circular in most lines. So it's like, I don't understand what you need Parallel Exceed for. I guess it's really good for making Dweller, like, at the end of your combo, which is really good against Tyrannoman, Awakened Baguska against Sprite. Both of those are pretty fucking decent, but I don't know. I just don't really feel the need to play those cards at the minute. Maybe that'll change. Maybe I'll cut some more going second cards to play more combo pieces, depending on how the format matches up. But right now, I don't feel like I need them. Am I forgetting anything else that most people play? There's the new Sideverse Link 2 that you stick next to IP Masquerena, which is a negate when it activates. Again, a very strong card. I can see why people are playing it. And maybe I will in the future. Maybe that's what I should be cutting Final Sigma and the Arrival Agnister for. I really like Towers cards. They're really fun. However, I just feel like it's a little bit Winmore. Like, you need to have like a really strong hand to actually put that on your Rem board. I mean, I guess you're like sacrificing the Lingeribo for it, and in a format where like Evenly is in everybody's side deck and Imperm's in everybody's main deck, I don't know. I like having the Lingeribo. It basically is a negate just for a different form of cards you're going to see less often. But those cards are normally more of like a... What word am I trying to find here? More of a difference in the game, you know? If your opponent like slaps you within the match and you have no negate on board, then, I mean, you just lose. So, I like Lingeribo. But yeah, that's my list. If you've enjoyed me talking about it. I really appreciate it if you left me a like, drop some comments. I know I haven't uploaded in 2 weeks. I'll try and get on more regularly scheduled programming going forward. We've got a couple of boys at Euros right now. Hopefully they do well and I'll get you their profiles. But yeah, that was Mathmech. I hope you enjoy it and I'll catch you guys next time. See you later.